And then this is just one of the answers from her sweet little kiddos that I just loved. I think that it's a great opportunity. It's a great demonstration of learning from a student that I think Mary would have described with a pretty significant achievement gap, but who still got a lot out of the lesson. Um, yeah, just one of those things that keeps me going as I'm developing these resources, a demonstration of what students can get out of it. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. I think we have some folks that are kind of struggling to get in and out of the Zoom room, and I apologize for that. But I'm going to make sure we keep going so that we end on time here. Bonus rounds. We've been talking a lot about cell, but now we're going to focus pretty explicitly on cell here for just a second. I said it before, I'll say it a million times. There's a really beautiful natural connection between financial education and a student's social emotional development. Both cell and finances, personal finance, touch pretty much every part of our lives every day. And I really believe that it is a part of overall wellness. It should be considered a part of overall wellness. There's two little hearts on the screen that I have no idea where they came from. But when we're looking at, the idea of self-care, I think it's pretty obvious, especially after we've all gone through this, national pandemic trauma, that your finances are a good part of your overall mental and emotional feelings of stress or non-stress, preparedness or non-preparedness. And so just recognizing that, and that, we're not born good at this. It's like reading, right? It's a muscle. You practice it. You develop strategies that work for you. You collect skills in your toolbox, and we develop our skills and get better and better and better. But for some reason, like reading is, everyone kind of understands that about reading, but you notice math is kind of like the opposite. Like it's like you're either good at math or you're bad at math. Boom. I feel like financial literacy is like that. Like people assume they're just born. I wasn't born a saver. You can develop this skill, just like, oh, I wasn't born responsible. You can develop this skill. So really trying to take that lens with these financial, personal finance capabilities, that feeling of self-efficacy within our kids. And that's where you're going to find the most matchup is within those self-management and self-efficacy standards. And I always like to say this, if you or someone signed up to be an elementary teacher but did not sign up to talk about feelings, personal finance is a great place to hang your hat in the cell department. You can focus on decision making, problem solving strategies, developing logic, seeing yourself as capable, a growth mindset approach, all of these things without focusing so much on that self-awareness part of it. So something for everybody. And again, I know we touched on it briefly, but you'll also have this resource in your packet. It's just kind of thinking about like shuffling in those cell-based questions with your key idea recall questions, right? Main idea questions. Recognizing, like integrating, how does the main character express emotions? Is that healthy or not healthy? Like how can we tell the difference? Or even just identifying the emotions that main characters are feeling. So I said that and then I got into feeling talk, but when we're applying it to characters in a story, you get sort of a little bit more of that inferential and critical thinking kind of viewpoint of it. And it's also worthwhile to mention that most adults, if you ask them to name feelings, they'll say happy, sad, mad, like adults, right? Kids, I mean, even if you can get them to recognize, it says down here in the bottom left, happy, sad, fear, anger, hurt, and love. Start there, right? Reading out loud, which one do we identify? And then they have opportunities to explain or to make connections between what they were with their opinion and what they heard in the story. So again, just these areas of opportunity for overlap. Some more cell-based questioning to just sort of think about. I love the idea of considering how other readers might feel about the story. endings can be you can have very strong feelings to the ending of a story, like Uncle Jed's Barbershop, for example. Like, oh, I'm just so upset that he died. Totally. Yeah, I can see that's very upsetting. How could somebody else maybe feel differently? And just expanding that range of thinking. I think that's also a great opportunity for some cell-based questioning strategies. I want to mention something for the littles, specifically for the littles who, because so much of this we're talking about reading and literacy and writing and responses, and sometimes those opportunities can be limited when our students are developing their fluency and their speaking and reading abilities. So one way that we can integrate some of this reading and personal finance in the K-2 arena is with some printable activity books that have a lovely literacy link. This is, I think, the last resource I'm going to share. This is from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau. So what you see there is an activity book, printable activity book. You can order them and have them sent to you, or you can just print them out and staple them. You can see examples on the two right squares there of some of the activities that you'll see in there. So they talk about, oh my gosh, careers, saving, giving and borrowing, risk, spending and budgeting, and I want to say protecting your things. If I didn't say that already, they talk about it. There's a protection one. So basically, there's an activity book, and then there are books that go along with it, printable online books that connect to the activity book pages. They all feature these money monsters. And like I showed you, so this is an example of the money monsters learn to become good borrowers. Here's a couple pages from that online book, great for projecting up onto a board, or again, printing. These would be good for remedial students or for any sort of small group reinforcement, I think. They are illustrated. If you have color access, that's cool. If you don't, I don't think you'll lose anything. But there are, I want to say 6 of these books, maybe 8. And I'm going to flip back here really quick. You see on the bottom another one of those FEPPP resource packages, which we will include this one as well in that, in everything you receive. So it's basically like a companion guide to these. What I did was I linked everything, and then I link all of the books with the topics. Some of them come with student worksheets as well to extend out that learning. They're CFPBs. They're very supplemental. They're very grab and go. And then they see which activity pages they connect to as well. So maybe this is the most that you can do in your room to fold in personal finance, is you can, maybe try and read one of these stories a couple of times or once a month, and then give them this activity book to work on during early finishing time. And if that's the case, that is more than most of these students are getting. So I just want to reinforce that there's nothing too small as far as starting with financial literacy. Anything you fold in is going to be a benefit for your students. But if you want to fold in a bunch, we're here to help you. So again, this activity book, great brain break, great, we know social emotional side of like coloring and mazes and things like that are great for our students. And that is, like I said, the last resource that I have to share with you guys today. I would love to open it up for any questions that everyone has. Let's see here. Yes, and then we have some more people diving into, I have Hari in the chat diving a little bit into the difference between rich and wealthy. And I hope you can see just from the conversations we're generating that it could be a really interesting conversation to have with your students, no matter the age. I'll give everyone a second here just to see if you have any other questions that you would like to pop in. While you're doing that, just kind of let you guys know a little bit about what we have coming up from FEPPP. Please sign up for our newsletter. We are going to continue, like I said, to have those celebration flyers for different months. And we're also launching a Book of the Month Club. So if this is a resource that you're interested in, that you want to explore, but Again, maybe it's just overwhelming to look at the whole library and you would like to have one book with some discussion guides and an extension activity delivered to your inbox. This will be the program to sign up for. We're still working out the specifics on it, but if you sign up for the newsletter, that is where you'll find information when it's ready to launch. Again, our website where we're continuously updating resources. And I believe, and I have my executive director on here and she can give me a thumbs up here, but I believe we are going to be having a fall series of webinars as well, which we did. This is obviously the ELA, but we also did K-5 social emotional learning, K-12 special populations resources, and K-5 math integration, all between, all with that social or personal finance lens. Excuse me. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your kind words in the chat. I really hope that you found this hour and a half to be useful to you and with resources that you feel you could easily integrate into your classroom. Thank you again so much for being here and for giving up an hour and a half of your time.